Character-driven relationship story. I think that is what hooks you. Is these are real people. They're raw emotions. They're raw humanity. And Jesus in the midst. And I have to mention the music as a huge Hans Zimmer fan and doing a little investigating that ethereal, haunting voice. It is the same team that did Gladiator.
Right. Yeah, Lisa Gerard.
Lisa Gerard.
Yeah, I know. We when we first got together with Hans, and we were so thrilled that Hans Zimmer was going to create this score for us along with Lorne Balfe. We said to him, it would be great if we could get a female voice to add that, you know, that haunting sound like you had on Gladiator. And he said, well, why would I get somebody like Lisa Gerard?
When I could get Lisa Gerard.
Lisa Gerard. Remember, Mark? And we were so
Absolutely.
thrilled.
And it turned out, which we didn't know, she's a Christian and was delighted when she understood the approach we'd taken and that we were Christians for this project, and the fact that she could honour and be faithful to Christ and give of her voice to make people feel Jesus, because you've seen the movie. The movie doesn't tell you how to feel, it just lets you feel.
It emotes and it pulls you in to the emotion of every scene. Here's a little Trivial Pursuit question. How much new material, how many scenes did I see that were not in the miniseries?
How many do you think you saw?
Well, that's what I have to go back and look, because, and I won't itemize things. You know, when the cart falls over on the boy, and I don't want to get too many details going on here. Have I seen that before?
No. But there's many things you have seen, but even the things you have seen are different shots. They're reordered, and there are many new things. I think the way to look at it is it's a whole new experience. And look at you. You've seen every minute of the Bible miniseries.
Yes.
You were just emoting with tears, thinking back on seeing the movie last Friday. There's nothing like seeing Jesus on the big screen in community. There's an effect. It's a feeling. And that's why we did it.
And Jesus hasn't been on the big screen in 10 years. It's been a decade since the Passion of the Christ, and 50 years since his whole story was told. Remember, Passion was just 3 days in the life of Jesus.
That's right.
The Son of God tells the story from his humble birth and the Nativity.
The Christmas story's there.
Right there, and right through to his crucifixion, the resurrection, the ascension, the Great Commission. So, you know, we know that for a whole new generation, there's an opportunity to feel and see and learn about Jesus on the big screen. And Diogo Morgado, who plays Jesus, is just so beautiful in the central role. You know, he brings such heart and compassion and empathy and kindness and humor and strength and gentleness. And you come away feeling like you really not just know Jesus, but you've fallen in love with Jesus. And I think that the faithful are feeling like they've fallen in love all over again. And for people that don't know Jesus, it's an opportunity to go to the movies and to learn a little bit more about who he is. And we know that when your heart is open, all kinds of extraordinary things can happen with grace.
Yeah, I think in those earlier Hollywood movies, and I won't label any of them, but we had this rather ethereal Jesus floating through crowds in a white outfit. You know, he just wasn't grabbable, and he's just become more and more human.
Yeah, accessible.
Accessible is
Well,
a great word.
if you think logically and within the gospel, he wasn't floating through ethereally, like see-through. It was a human, and that's why from a lot of the time they didn't know who he was. Just a charismatic leader. In fact, they thought this guy must be the next David, who's going to lead us in battle against the Romans. Remember what was going on? The Jewish people were impoverished and overtaxed and
Oppressed by the Romans.
oppressed.
Right.
And so it was into that awful time which Daniel had predicted that the fourth beast would be coming, which was the Romans. So this was a real gritty, scary time. And we show the disciples are scared. It's a bunch of young guys. When he says we're going to Jerusalem, they're like, Jerusalem? That's kind of dangerous. And so you really feel it. And this is a 2-hour, 15-minute experience which just grabs you in its scale and also its intimacy.
So we wanted to present it as a political thriller, you know, because it is that three-pointed triangular thriller with the Roman oppressors led by Pilate, with the Jewish authorities led by Caiaphas, and then with the disciples, of course, led by Jesus.
And that component, Roma, is often left out.
Yes.
The political backdrop is very
well,
fleshed
it was
out
that
here.
context, to give the context for it. It made it very real, dangerous times. And then you have all three components and the collision right at Passover in Jerusalem. And then, of course, the ticking clock, because it's Passover is coming, and they need resolution, which is, of course, why they race him through a trial and crucified him so quickly. But yeah, it's been such a journey to bring this to the screen.
And huge buy-in cross denominations.
Yes, that's been one of the most heartening elements of this that we have seen across all denominations.
Shall I quote Rick Warren?
Please do.
He says, "This movie stands alone. It's in a class by itself. The best Jesus movie I have ever seen."
Yeah, we love Rick, and he's been so supportive of the project. He, in fact, has created a beautiful teaching curriculum around Son of God that he's putting out, I think, later this month, and we're thrilled with that. But not just Rick Warren has stepped forward; the Catholic Church has stepped forward. The Cardinal Wuerl has endorsed the movie. San Rodriguez, who heads up the Hispanic evangelicals, Joel Osteen, Bishop Jakes, and on and on and on. It's just been such a beautiful outpouring of love, because I think sometimes we're known as Christians as people who speak out against things. And this was an opportunity to put aside all the quibbles over doctrine and theology, but to come together, and what we speak out for and what we all are for is Jesus and our love for Jesus.
Well, a pastor got up after we saw the first screening, first viewing, and he led us all in a prayer for Son of God and all who would come, and that believers would bring their friends, bring their co-workers. He was obviously very moved. We all were. And I know that's your vision. People will be talking about Jesus and seeing him afresh in this compelling way. Now, I've got a curiosity question, because I just love the name of your company, Light Workers Media. and that was created for the Bible miniseries.
Yes.
And you've been so faithful. You've stuck to this and made it everything you envisioned. What's next for Light Workers Media?
Well, Light Workers Media was created because we were tired of cursing the darkness, and we wanted instead to shine the light, to shine his light. And Light Workers Media produced the Bible series, have produced Son of God, and we have a new series that will be on next year on NBC Network, which is called A.D.
Anno Domini.
That's it.
Year of our
AD.
Lord.
AD.
After the cross comes down.
That's right, yes.
Woohoo!
Yes, it will be a series, not just a mini-series, but a series. We have 12-hour commitment from NBC. We'll be back in Morocco at the end of this year shooting that, and it will reset the story around the crucifixion and then follow really the beginnings of the early church, but told in the same dramatic and compelling way.
I'm so glad I asked.
Yes, yes. We also actually have a mini series we're doing for CBS called The Dove Keepers, which is the story of Masada. So we love this period of time in history, and you know, we just feel very fortunate that we're able to bring these amazing stories of faith to the screen.
We have to thank you and pray for you, because what you're doing is brave in the context of Hollywood and that whole world, and God will guard and guide and continue to make a difference through your efforts. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.